very, very quiet. I'm not hunting rabbits. I'm hunting the darkness. In my head, that could have gone a little better. Oh well. Welcome to the Night Stalker. Hello one and all, I am SPC Brawlers, aka Brawlers, and welcome to my 9th subclass Guardian review in Destiny. And for those of you that have seen my other reviews, welcome back. I have ended up pushing this review for a long time due to my studies with being in college. But now that I'm out and I've gotten a bunch of videos out of the way, it was time for me to get myself back into the reviews, which I told myself from the beginning, and I am keeping my word, that I will give each subclass their own reviews, whether or not you are a veteran like myself in the Destiny community or you're a newcomer. Just checking on the last review that I actually did on this channel, and whoa, it's been 2 months. Well, like I said before, this is the final subclass review for the Guardians of Destiny, and I am willing to cover it. So without further ado, on to the review. The Night Stalker is one of the 3 subclasses available for those hunters interested in utilizing the Void as light through the Taken King. If you really want to get your hands on this subclass, you need to purchase the Taken King along with a quest that you must complete once you have completed your purchase of the Taken King. That sounded a little redundant, but we're moving on. Your quest starts on Venus. You are sent to Venus to catch up with an old friend of Cayde 6, known as Tevis, the most experienced Night Stalker around. Trouble starts once you end up getting on the planet itself. Somehow he got separated from his ghost. His body is in the Black Garden, but his ghost was not there. And a guardian without his or her ghost is a dead guardian. After holding off the enemies, you are then sent to the Black Garden and only end up fighting the worst of the news. Your friend Tevis is now dead. Now we bring a moment for silence for Tevis. Catching the Void light just in time before it faded away from Tevis, you make it your own light, therefore becoming a Night Stalker. Once you have the Night Stalker subclass unlocked, take your vengeance out as the Vex show up and avenge Tevis' death. As you are destroying the Vex within Pantheon, you will have these 4 perks immediately unlocked. First is a Spike Grenade, a grenade that attaches to any surface and emits a torrent of damaging void light, similar to what the Titans have. Double Jump. Instead of jumping once, you could jump twice. Shadow Shot, which is a new subclass that you get to mess around and have fun with. Tether foes to a Void Anchor, slowing, weakening, and suppressing them for you and your allies to take down. Keep in mind, even though you can kill with the subclass, this isn't really meant for killing hostiles, but the explanation that I just said earlier speaks for itself. There is a certain perk, however, that likes to bend these limitations, which I will mention later on in the review. And Smoke. Throw smoke to slow and disorient those trapped in its cloud. Extremely useful if you have enemies that like to rush you, such as Thralls, Minotaurs that go berserk, and other enemies like that. As you continue to use the Night Stalker class, you still have a lot of more perks to unlock, and here are some of the following. For the grenades, we have 2 more. Void Wall Grenade, a unique and exclusive grenade to only the Hunter subclass Night Stalker. This grenade can create a horizontal wall of burning void light. Simply throw this to the ground, and you will create this wall of purple flames, which looks really cool. Perfect for giving that little extra damage to the hostiles that are coming too close to you. And Vortex Grenade. I will admit, I was extremely surprised that this Hunter subclass was going to get the Vortex Grenade. I could understand the Warlocks having a Vortex Grenade due to their heavy duty with magic and their power that they rely on with the Traveler. But for the Hunter, I was expecting more of a Magnetic Grenade or a Suppressor Grenade. Is that just me? Anyways, just like for the Warlocks with their Vortex Grenades, it's the same thing. This grenade creates a vortex, continuously damaging enemies that are trapped inside. Just throw in at a good crowd of enemies and they will burn. Continuing with the jumps, we still have 3 more, and here they are. Higher Jump, which upgrades your double jump to an even higher jump. Better Control. Your double jump will be able to have more air directional control, and Triple Jump. Not once, but twice. Now you can jump 3 times. For the Shadow Shot, we have 3 unique perks that you're able to utilize. The first is Bloodbound. Tethered enemies explode when killed. Damaging to tethered enemies is shared to all. As you shoot this Void Anchor, all the enemies that are tethered will explode eventually, which can create orbs of light for your allies. Not only that, that splash damage will allow itself to spread onto other hostiles that are nearby. Second is Black Hole. The Void Anchor has increased range, lasts for a much longer period of time, and can tether more targets. There have been cases when I've seen someone shoot their Shadow Shot to a giant crowd of enemies, and it can tether every single one of them. A very helpful perk indeed when you want to just hang back and shoot the enemies from afar. Especially plan on having a unique attack for other Guardians, such as Titans and Warlocks if they have their Void Nova Bomb or their Arc Fist of Havoc. You'll be creating a lot of wars with this. And finally, Quiver. Remember the perk that I mentioned earlier about the Shadow Shot able to bend the rules of killing? Quiver is the one you want to utilize, especially when it comes to the Crucible. You will be very amused if you know how to use this perk as you kill Guardians. And not only that, you can use it against AIs, but don't be surprised if they can survive a tether shot, especially when it comes to the Ultras and Majors. This perk is more utilized for the PvP grounds of Destiny, especially if you have hostile Guardians nearby and you can pull off 3 consecutive kills with Quiver. It is just a satisfying feeling unlike any other. Well, for me at least. Another thing to keep in mind with Quiver, your Void Anchors have reduced range, so don't be surprised if you cannot tether other enemies within the field, especially when it comes to PvE matches. Now let's take a look at the handy dandy Smoke. We can equip 3 unique features with this, but as the rule says, you can only equip it one at a time. The first is Envenom. Adds a toxin that damages enemy within smoke. Not only will you be able to slow the enemies down, but you'll be able to give that extra toxic damage to them as they're trying to get away from the smoke. Second, Vanish in smoke. You and your allies near smoke explosions vanish from sight. If you guys are having trouble within a certain nightfall or a raid and you guys need to get some cover, tell everybody to group up nearby you and throw your smoke down. Everybody caught within the blast will immediately become invisible to the enemy's eyes for a few seconds. Try not to really utilize this in PvP. In my opinion, there are some smart Guardians out there, and they'll be able to know what's out of the ordinary if they just keep their eyes open. But if you're lucky and if they don't see you, props to you. Finally, Snare. Allows smoke to stick to surfaces, detonating when enemies are near. It's kind of a tie for this perk to be utilized in PvP, but I can see this more in PvE aspects. If enemies are rushing you, just stick one to the wall, allow them to get nearby, the smoke will explode and they will slow down. I will say that this perk can be useful in Trials of Osiris if you have a team that is not really paying attention to the enemy's environments, aka your movements. Up next are the training abilities, which they are exactly the same as the Gunslinger and Blade Dancer subclasses, which they are the following. Path Forgotten, you're focusing on toughness and speed. Path Forbidden, you will keep your main attributes to battle recovery and speed. Path Unknown, your battle training will be focusing with battle recovery and toughness. Way of the Drifter, you will keep your main focus with all attributes. Way of the Fearless, you are rolling with toughness at all costs. And Way of the Nomad, your focus is on maximum battle recovery. Last but not least are the bonus perk abilities, and some of these perks can jive well together if you know which perks to utilize. First one is Courage of the Pack. Killing tethered targets greatly increases recovery and armor for you and your nearby allies, stacks up to 3 times. This will only come useful once you shoot your Shadow Shot towards the enemies and you start killing them as they are tethered within your Void Shadow Shot. And it speaks for itself. As you and your allies kill more enemies, the recovery and armor for you and everyone else will keep stacking, 3 times maximum. Second is Light of the Pack. Killing tethered targets creates orbs of light for your allies. And we as Destiny veterans know that the more orbs you create for your team, the more supers you and your allies will be rocking with. So keep on creating those orbs, Guardians, if you're using Light of the Pack. Third, Lockdown. Grenade and smoke effects last twice as long, allowing strong territory control. This is another perk that has the explanation within the description. As you have more territory control, you'll be able to hold down certain positions for a longer period of time, which means either A, you'll be able to fall back safely, or B, you'll be able to advance and complete your objective. The fourth is Keen Scout. Sprint and sneak faster, gain enhanced tracker, and the ability to mark targets that you end up damaging with your weapons. There's a lot going on with this perk. You'll be able to run faster and sneak at a quicker manner. You will notice that your tracker has multiple triangles, little smaller ones than you normally would, and you'll be able to track down unique features within the map. Say if you're patrolling, you'll be able to see unique consumables, you'll be able to track down unique materials and treasure chests as you're patrolling, and tag your enemies as you're fighting on the field. This goes with AIs and other players. Fifth is Predator. From a recent update now, it decreases Shadow Shot cooldown, which means you'll be able to use your Shadow Shot more often. Void anchors fire from the Shadow Shot become traps that stick to surfaces and wait for the prey. Just allow the enemies to get nearby before your Void Anchor runs out, and they will become trapped. Last but not least, and one of my favorites, Shade Step. For the PlayStation 4 users and PlayStation 3 users, press circle twice to do a unique evade if you're trying to get away from enemies. Extremely useful if you want to get yourself out of sticky situations, including you having the ability to dodge some supers. There have been cases where I have evaded supers, like the Golden Gun for example. Extremely useful if you want to get yourself out of that stuff. Also, along with enemies nearly smashing you to your death or being critically wounded at least. For the Xbox 360 and for the Xbox One players, all you have to do is press the B button twice to do this performance. One of my favorite tactics to use is Shade Step with Quiver, especially when I am battling in PvE areas, and start shooting the Void Anchors at your enemies. Give it a try and see how you like it. Taming the Void energy from the Night Stalker, utilizing this subclass has the best of both worlds of being precise and being a stealthy ninja-like type of individual. The precision comes from the Shadow Shot itself if you want to take down your enemies in one shot. Keep in mind, not all enemies will end up going down with one shot. Sometimes you may need 2 or even 3 for a single enemy to go down. And the perks give you an advantage of being fast on your feet, along with spreading some support to your ally guardians. Whether it's day or night, you are the Stalker. Extract from the void and light up the way. Use it against your hostiles and make them pay. That concludes the Night Stalker review. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new today. Hope you got crazy ideas going on in your head. But most of all, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below which subclass you like to utilize on your hunter the most. And not only that, if there are any favorite primary weapons you like to utilize, any secondaries, heavies, along with the favorite gear you like to utilize with your hunter. That could be your chest piece, your gauntlets, your helmets, and it could be legendary or exotic armor, or whatever favorite armor piece you like to utilize. Unfortunately, this is the last subclass review for the Guardians, and with the rise of Iron around the corner, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting new subclasses anytime soon, unless we get some type of surprise. But I am planning on doing other types of reviews for Destiny, including some exotics that I think could have used some improvement, so keep an eye out for that if you would like to see that video. But nonetheless, thank you all for watching. And until the next review, game on, gamers.